Have you ever stopped and asked yourself this? Who really controls my thoughts? Is it me or is it the world around me? That question alone can shake the ground beneath your feet because the truth is most people never think about it. They live their whole lives believing they are in control, when in reality they are being pulled like puppets by the noise of society, by the opinions of others, and by the invisible pressures that surround them every single day. And here lies the danger. When you don't realize that your mind is unguarded, the world enters without knocking. Negativity, doubt, comparison, fear, they sleep in silently. And once they're inside, they begin to shape the way you see yourself, the way you live your life, and the way you handle your future. This is why the strongest battles are never fought outside in the world. They are fought in silence inside your own mind. Think about it. How many times have you wanted to move forward, but a voice inside whispered, "You're not ready, you're not good enough. What if you fail?" That voice isn't the real. It's the echo of every negative seed planted in your mind by experiences, by people who doubted you, by the environment that constantly tries to make you small. And if you do not guard your mind, that voice becomes your prison. Now imagine this. What if you could train yourself to take control back? EQ. What if you could build a wall so strong that no unnecessary negativity could enter your spirit? What if you could turn your mind into a fortress where only strength, peace and clarity are allowed to stay? That is not just a dream, that is possible. And that is exactly why this message matters. Because here is the reward I want to promise you. If you stay with me until the end, you will not just hear words. You will feel a shift inside yourself. You will carry a new power, a new shield, a new way to look at your life. By the end of this journey, you will understand how to guard your mind and spirit so deeply that nothing outside of you can break the peace within you. That is a reward no one can take away. But first, let's go deeper into why the mind is the battlefield of all battles. Every action you take begins as a thought. Every achievement, every failure, every relationship, everything starts in the mind. If your thoughts are poisoned, your actions follow. If your thoughts are weak, your spirit collapses. But if your mind is guarded, if your inner voice speaks with power, then no matter what happens outside, you remain unshaken. Here's the truth about human psychology. Your brain is wired to protect you, but it is also wired to fear. It always scans for danger, always expects the worst, because survival has been its job for thousands of years. That's why doubts and fears come so naturally. It's not because you are weak, it's because your brain is trying to keep you safe. But here's the catch. The same mind that tries to protect you can also paralyze you. It can stop you from moving forward, from growing, from living fully. This is why guarding your mind is not an option. It is a responsibility. If you leave your thoughts unguarded, they will be hijacked by fear, by society, by distractions. But if you train your mind, if you decide to stand guard at the gates of your thoughts, you take back control of your life. You stop being a prisoner and you become the master. So let me ask you again, who really controls your thoughts? If you don't know the answer, then someone else already does. And that's exactly why you must listen, because what comes next will show you how to build the strength, the awareness, and the discipline to finally protect what matters most. Your mind and your spirit stay until the very end. That is the moment where everything will connect, where you will see the full picture, and where you will walk away with a power most people never discover. The greatest enemy you will ever face is not outside of you. It lives quietly within your own mind. It doesn't come with weapons, it doesn't shout, it doesn't announce its arrival. It creeps in silently through doubt, fear, and hesitation. It hides in your thoughts and it disguises itself as truth. That enemy is the voice that says, you can't, you're not ready, you will fail. What makes this enemy so dangerous is its invisibility. You can prepare to fight challenges in the outside world. You can work harder, you can train, you can plan. But when the enemy sits inside your head, when it shapes the way you see yourself and the world, the battle becomes harder to notice. And when you cannot see the battle, you do not fight back. This is why so many people live lives far below their potential. They are not defeated by others. They are defeated by themselves. Long before they even begin, they let the silent enemy win by believing its lies, by surrendering without resistance. They never understand that every time they give in to fear, every time they accept doubt as reality, they are feeding the enemy inside. But here is the truth. That enemy has no power on its own. It grows only when you give it attention. It survives only when you listen. And the moment you shine awareness on it, the illusion begins to break. Recognizing this silent enemy is the first step to freedom. Because once you see it for what it is, you can refuse to let it control your life. Your mind is not meant to be a battlefield where you lose. It is meant to be a place where you conquer. The enemy whisper, but you decide whether to accept the whisper or to rise above it. The choice will always belong to you. The silent enemy inside is not born alone. It is fed and strengthened by the endless noise that surrounds us every day. From the moment you wake up, the world begins to pour its voice into your mind. Social media, television, the opinions of people who barely know you, all of it seeps in, shaping how you think and how you feel about yourself. This constant noise is dangerous because it drowns out your own inner voice. It convinces you that you must compare your life to others. It makes you believe that your worth depends on approval, likes, or recognition. And slowly, without realizing it, you start living a life that doesn't belong to you. You start chasing images, chasing status, chasing shadows created by others, while your true self remains hidden behind layers of noise. But here's the truth. Most of that noise carries no value. It does not strengthen your spirit. It does not push you toward growth. It distracts, it confuses, and it fills your mind with doubts that were never yours to begin with. The more you allow the outside world to dominate your inner space, the weaker your spirit becomes. The human mind is like fertile soil. Whatever seeds you allow to fall into it will grow. If the seeds of negativity, comparison, and fear are constantly planted by the noise around you, that is what your life will reflect. But if you protect your soil and choose carefully what you allow to grow, you will begin to rise above the noise. You cannot silence the entire world, but you can decide how much of it you allow inside. Guarding your spirit starts with this awareness. Not every voice deserves your attention. Not every message deserves a place in your mind. The more you filter the noise, the clearer your path becomes. If the mind is like fertile soil, then the thoughts and influences you allow in are the seeds. This is why guarding the gate of your mind is one of the most powerful acts of self-mastery. Every moment, something is trying to enter, an opinion, a judgment, a distraction, a memory. Some of these carry strength, others carry poison. And once they are inside, they begin to grow whether you notice them or not. Think of your mind as a great fortress. The gate is always open, but not everything deserves to enter. If you let in fear, it will multiply. If you let in anger, it will consume your peace. If you let in doubt, it will weaken your courage. But if you stand guard, if you choose carefully what enters, then your inner world becomes a place of clarity, focus, and strength. Most people never guard this gate. They scroll endlessly, consume every opinion, and absorb negativity without question. They think it doesn't matter, but slowly they begin to mirror the chaos they let inside. Their spirit becomes restless because their gate has no guard. This is how the noise of the world takes root and controls lives without resistance. Guarding the gate is not about shutting everything out, it is about becoming selective. You decide what deserves your energy. You decide what deserves to live in your mind. When you protect this gate with awareness and discipline, you take back control. You stop being a victim of influence and become the architect of your inner world. Strength does not come from having no battles. Strength comes from refusing to let weakness enter in the first place. Guard your gate and you guard your future. Even with awareness, the battle is not over, because every day distractions wait at your door, ready to steal your focus and weaken your spirit. They do not look dangerous. They often appear harmless. Endless scrolling, empty conversations, small temptations, the pursuit of things that do not truly matter. But slowly, these distractions drain your energy and scatter your mind until nothing strong remains. The danger of distraction is that it feels comfortable. It gives the illusion of rest while stealing your strength. You think you are relaxing, but your mind is being pulled in 1,000 directions. You think you are choosing freely, but you are actually being led away from your true path. The more time you spend distracted, the less time you spend building yourself. Detachment is the weapon. It means stepping back and seeing clearly what serves you and what steals from you. It means asking, does this action strengthen me or does it weaken me? When you detach, you begin to see how much of your life is wasted on things that bring no growth. And once you see it, you can take your power back. The spirit grows in silence, in focus, in purpose. But it cannot grow when it is constantly pulled into noise and distraction. Detachment is not about rejecting the world, it is about refusing to let the world control your attention. When you master detachment, you reclaim your time, your energy, and your mind. A guarded mind is not one that never faces distractions, but one that refuses to bow to them. True strength is the ability to walk away from what does not serve your highest self. When you detach from distractions, you rise above them, and your spirit begins to shine with a clarity that nothing outside can shake. When distractions are pushed aside, what remains is the constant voice inside your head. This inner dialogue is more powerful than any opinion from the outside world, because it is the voice you hear the most. It speaks to you in moments of silence, it guides your choices, and it defines how you see yourself. If this voice is filled with doubt, fear, or negativity, your path will always be heavy. But if it is filled with strength, belief, and clarity, your path becomes unstoppable. Human psychology proves that repeated thoughts create deep patterns in the brain. The words you tell yourself over and over carve pathways that eventually shape your behavior. If you constantly say, "I am not enough, I will fail, I cannot do this," those thoughts transform into reality because your mind begins to act as if they are true. But the same principle works in your favor. Your inner voice says, "I am strong, I can endure, I will rise." Your brain creates the energy and courage to match those beliefs. Your spirit listens carefully to the language of your mind. Every word you allow yourself to repeat either builds your strength or weakens it. This is why guarding your inner dialogue is not optional. It is essential. You must become conscious of how you speak to yourself. Replace the language of defeat with the language of victory. Replace the whispers of fear with the declarations of courage. Destiny is not written by chance. It is written by the conversation you have with yourself every single day. The world outside may try to shake you, but if your inner voice is steady, no storm can move you. Guard that dialogue because it is the script of your life. What you say to yourself today will become the reality you live tomorrow. Your inner dialogue gains its strength from what you feed it. Every word you hear, every image you watch, every idea you entertain becomes fuel for the voice inside. This is why you must choose carefully what you allow to enter your mind. Just as the body becomes what it eats, the spirit becomes what it absorbs. If you fill your days with negativity, complaints, and fear, then your thoughts will echo the same. But if you surround yourself with wisdom, discipline, and truth, then your inner dialogue will rise with power. Most people do not guard what they consume. They let every message of fear, every shallow distraction, every toxic influence pour into their mind without resistance. And slowly, they begin to mirror that energy. Their words grow weaker, their confidence fades, and their spirit bends under the weight of thoughts that were never theirs to begin with. But you are not meant to live this way. You have the ability to choose what deserves a place in your mind. Ask yourself, does this strengthen me or weaken me? Does this content feed my growth or does it poison my peace? When you begin to question what you allow inside, you shift from being a passive receiver to an active protector. Every book, every conversation, every idea is a seed. Some will grow into courage, focus, and clarity. Others will grow into fear, doubt, and confusion. Guarding your spirit means planting with intention. Surround yourself with voices that you hire, with lessons that sharpen your mind, with truths that feed your resilience. The world will never stop throwing information at you, but you decide what to keep and what to reject. By choosing wisely what you absorb, you take back control of the energy that fuels your inner dialogue. And when that fuel is pure, your thoughts become stronger, your actions bolder, and your spirit unshakable. Choosing what to absorb is only the beginning. To keep your mind and spirit strong, you must build discipline. Without discipline, even the best intentions collapse under pressure. Discipline is the structure that protects your inner world when distractions, doubts, and temptations come knocking. It is the daily practice of choosing what is difficult but necessary over what is easy but destructive. The spirit is like a muscle. It grows stronger only when trained. If you let your thoughts wander without control, they weaken. If you let your emotions rule without guidance, they enslave you. But when you apply discipline, you begin to shape both your mind and spirit into powerful allies. Discipline teaches you consistency, creates strength, funds. Think about the habits you repeat every day. Do they lift your spirit or do they drain it? Do they sharpen your focus or do they scatter your attention? Every choice you make trains your spirit in one direction or another. The person who practices discipline even in small things becomes unshakable in bigger battles. The one who avoids discipline becomes fragile, easily broken by the smallest storm. Discipline is not punishment, it is freedom. It frees you from the control of impulses. It frees you from the chains of weakness. It frees you from the cycle of regret. With discipline, your spirit stands tall because it is not swayed by the comfort of the moment. It is rooted in purpose. To guard your mind and spirit, you must practice discipline daily. Protect your time, protect your thoughts, protect your energy. Train your spirit as carefully as you would train your body. When discipline becomes your habit, strength becomes your nature, and your mind transforms into a fortress no enemy can break. Discipline gives you strength, but sooner or later you will stand face to face with fear. It's the wall that rises when you try to step beyond your comfort zone. It whispers reasons to stop, to turn back, to remain small. And if you let it, fear can chain your spirit and lock away your potential. Spirit and lock away your potential. But when you guard your mind, you learn the truth. Fear is not a signal to retreat. It is a call to rise. Every person feels fear. It is natural. It is the mind's way of protecting you from the unknown. But here is the secret. Fear is often an illusion. It paints the worst picture, magnifies the risk, and hides the possibility of growth. If you accept fear as truth, you remain stuck. But if you face it with courage, you discover strength you never knew existed. Courage does not mean you feel no fear. It means you choose to act in spite of it. It is the decision to move forward when everything inside wants to hold back. And every time you choose courage, your spirit grows. You prove to yourself that fear cannot control you, and slowly its power begins to fade. The disciplined mind understands this. Fear is not the end, it is the beginning. It marks the place where growth lives. It shows you exactly where your strength is waiting to be built. And when you walk through fear with courage, you not only guard your spirit, you elevate it. The enemy outside cannot break a person who has already conquered fear within. Courage turns fear into fuel. It transforms the unknown into possibility. Guard your mind, stand with courage, and you will find that fear was never a prison, it was the doorway to freedom. When fear is faced with courage, the next challenge is learning to live above the constant noise of life. The world thrives on chaos. It pulls your attention in every direction, demands your energy, and convinces you that constant busyness equals progress. But true strength is not found in chaos. It is found in peace. Peace is not weakness. Peace is power under control. Noise scatters the mind. It makes you restless, impatient, and reactive. When you live in noise, you are always chasing, always running, but never arriving. Your spirit feels drained because it has no stillness to breathe. This is why guarding your mind requires more than discipline and courage. It requires the ability to create peace within yourself, even when the world outside is loud. Peace does not come from having no problems. It comes from mastering your response to them. It is the calm center inside you that cannot be shaken, no matter how strong the storm becomes. When you cultivate peace, you stop reacting to every distraction, every opinion, every pressure. Instead, you act from clarity. You choose your battles, you protect your energy. The strongest warriors are not those who fight endlessly. They are those who know when to remain still. Stillness is not the absence of action. It is the presence of focus. A peaceful mind sees the world clearly, while a noisy mind is blinded by confusion. Guarding your spirit means valuing peace more than chaos. It means choosing silence when others choose noise, clarity when others choose distraction, and calmness when others choose panic. With peace, your spirit becomes unshakable. You stop being a prisoner of the outside world and start living from a place of inner power. That is the kind of strength that lasts. Section 12. The warrior within peace does not mean you are passive. It means you are prepared. When the spirit is guarded and the mind is steady, you begin to awaken the warrior within. This warrior is not driven by anger or pride, but by clarity and strength. It is the part of you that refuses to surrender. The part that rises again no matter how many times life tries to push you down. Every person carries this warrior inside, but most never call it force. They let fear silence it. They let distraction weaken it. They let doubt bury it. Yet the warrior is always there, waiting to be awakened. And when you choose to protect your mind, when you live with discipline, awareness, and courage, the warrior within finally steps forward. A true warrior does not fight every battle, only the ones that matter. They do not waste their strength on noise or pettiness. They save their energy for what aligns with their purpose. That is the power of a guarded spirit. It gives you the wisdom to know which battles to fight and the strength to fight them with everything you have. The warrior within is not about conquering others. It is about conquering yourself. It is the ability to master your emotions, to rise above fear, and to hold your ground when life tests you. And the more you train your spirit, the stronger this warrior becomes. When you live with the warrior within, life no longer feels overwhelming. You are not easily shaken because you know who you are and what you stand for. Guarding your mind builds this warrior, and once it awakens, no force outside of you can break what lives with. The journey of guarding your mind and spirit is not about becoming someone else. It is about returning to who you truly are. Beneath the noise, the fear, and the distractions, there is a core of strength that has always lived within you. When you protect your thoughts, when you choose what to absorb, when you live with discipline and courage, that strength begins to rise. You are not powerless against the world. You are not at the mercy of circumstances. The greatest power you have is the ability to control what lives inside you. No matter how loud the outside becomes, no matter how uncertain the future appears, your inner world can remain unshaken if you guard it with intention. Let this be your declaration. My mind is my fortress. My spirit is my shield. I decide what enters, I decide what stays, and I decide what grows. These are not just words. They are a commitment to yourself, to your growth, and to the life you are building. Remember, the strongest people are not those who never fall. They are those who refuse to stay down. They guard their spirit so deeply that even in darkness they carry light. And that same power is within you. So stand tall, guard your gate, choose your thoughts with care, live with discipline, with awareness, with courage, and with peace. The warrior within you is awake and no force can silence. From this day forward, let your life reflect the strength of a mind that is guarded and a spirit that is unbreakable.